Okay. Let's see. So I'm gonna wait until I get some people here. I am going to wait for a few more people here. Hello, hello, hello. How are you ladies doing? I decided to go live today because it's Sunday. Sundays are my day off. I usually don't do too much. I just got back in country and I got a little time. I got a little time to talk. So let's talk. If anybody wants to jump in on the live and talk with me, let's do that. Let's have an interactive conversation, and we could possibly, let's just talk. So on the post where I asked about what would you guys, ladies, want me to talk about on this live, Kim and Jennifer mentioned two things. One was relationship with my husband and his family, friends, and possibly old girlfriends or whatever like that. And Jennifer mentioned talking about the accommodations. We had a long post that was very interesting about accommodations with one of the ladies that was looking for accommodations. So Jennifer said that we should have a real life conversation about what accommodations look like. So I think that the accommodations part will be shorter, and then maybe I can get into the relationship part. But so I'm going to start with accommodations. So here's the thing with accommodations in Ghana. First things first, I would say not even just Ghana, but accommodations pretty much anywhere. Unless you know someone on the ground who's able to secure your accommodations for you, you should probably wait until you get in country to secure your accommodations. I say that because a lot of times there are things online. There are, there's just stuff all over the place. Like people have situations where they've secured accommodations, and then they get there and those accommodations aren't quite secure. So I would suggest that if you're coming in country, you should either have someone that you know to secure your accommodations, or rent you a room, like a hotel room or something for a while before you actually rent for long term, if you're going to be renting long term. I hope you ladies can hear me. Can you all hear me? Am I clear? Is my connection clear? Is everything clear? I'm hoping that everything is clear. So we're talking about accommodations. Someone just let me know if you all can hear me well. As I said earlier, if some of you all want to jump on cam with me and we can discuss some things, a question or concern that you may have, let's do that. But anyway, so as for accommodations, I would say that unless you're booking an Airbnb or a hotel or something prior, it would not be, I don't think it would be good to try and like rent something before you get there. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I see someone saying, Yana is saying that she would never come to this place without proper arrangements. I'm not saying that you should come without proper arrangements. You shouldn't go anywhere without proper arrangements. What I'm saying is that if you're renting long term, it's not a good idea to rent prior to getting here. Like, I wouldn't say send your money before you get to Ghana for your long-term rental. I would say get there first so you can see the place in person, and you can do the inspection that you will need to do to before you start giving out money, because once that money is out, you're gonna have a hard time getting it back. So that's all I'm saying. So for instance, like, my husband is Ghanaian, and when he came to America in 2012, we moved back to Ghana in I just did not understand, like, why are we not securing a place before before we go. Like, why can't we rent a place before we go? And he's like, no, it doesn't work like that in Ghana. We can't do that. It won't be smart. We could lose our money or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So we basically for 2 weeks before we came home, and then we rigorously looked for a place, which, when I tell you, was very interesting. I'll say it was very interesting. We literally, I didn't go with my husband to the first view of many places, because as a foreigner, the price goes up when I come. So he would go make whatever deal we were going to make for the house, and then he would say, okay, I need to bring my wife to come and see it. And then, of course, when I come to see it, it would be like, oh, okay, we probably should have charged them more, type of thing. But anyway, and that's all just because I'm an American, and they think that because I'm an American, we probably have much more money. So there were several times where we went to places while we were on the ground, and they would say, this place is available. Like, one person is saying, this place is available. And then we're like, okay, we like this place. We would like to rent this place. And then we would find out, okay, the place wasn't available, that it had been rented to someone else, or someone else was getting ready to move in or whatever. It took us about a month to find a place. And my husband is Ghanaian, and he hadn't lived outside of Ghana for maybe 2 years before we left, and he had been going back and forth to Ghana. So it wasn't like he was so displaced from understanding how things work. That's just how it works. So what I'm saying is, when you get ready to make your long-term accommodations, if it's just like you need an Airbnb for a week or 2 weeks or something, like just some short-term stay, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when you're looking for some long-term accommodations, you should definitely wait until you get on the ground, unless you have someone that you can trust to go check it out and do all of the things that need to be done to make sure that it's secure when you get there. Now, that's definitely a possibility, and some of the women have done that, and it's been just perfect for them. But if you don't have anyone on the ground to do that for you, I would caution against renting or making any kind of definitive decisions from afar. Was it hard to transition, and how long have you been living there? Okay, so right now I'm in Conakry. I've been in Guinea for since October. I've been back and forth to the U.S. Maybe 3 or 4 times. I'm here on business. Ghana is home for us, but Conakry is where business was easier for me to get started. So, but as far as when we initially moved to Ghana in 2014, and that was myself, my husband, my mother, and at that time we only had 2 children. We had my first child, she was 13 when we moved. She was 12. She was 12 when we moved, and me and my husband's first child, Zuri was 6 months old when we moved. So she's now about to be 6 years old in a few months. But so we moved in 2014. I would say the transition for me was quite difficult. It was difficult in the sense that I'm married to a Ghanaian, so I was thrusted head first into like everything. And it was kind of overwhelming at times. Many times I was just like, I'm ready to go home. I can't do it. Because it was like, although we had our own place or whatever, I'm an only child, and being an American, I'm not the kind of person, I don't like people popping up in my house. I don't do well with all of that. So it was a hard first 6 months, I would say, when it came to just transitioning and getting to learn just how to deal with family and all of the I guess politics of family that we don't usually have. Family gets way more involved than we're used to. So my transition was very different from what a lot of women would have as a transition, because I am married to a Ghanaian. I have Ghanaian kids or whatever. So it was a lot of having to set a lot of boundaries up front. Like it was a lot of work. And our family as a whole is still really just kind of balancing out from what it looks like for us to be I don't want to say a mixed family, but a blended family, a culturally blended family. It was difficult because I don't come with the. I know a lot of us have this. We need to leave your whatever behind and come with the attitude to completely immerse yourself and that's all well and good. But I didn't fall out of the sky without a culture and without my own belief systems and all of that stuff. I came with my own very unique and strong culture as an African born in America, an descendant of enslaved people. I still have my own culture and my own ways of thinking and living and all of those things. I'm very respectful to the Ghanaian culture and how things are done, but we have to be respected also. Like, I didn't fall out of the sky without a culture of my own. So that was one of the things that we needed to kind of establish that. And I had to kind of really put my foot down really firm that, this is my house. I am the woman of this house. And this is how things going to go. Don't show up to my house at 6 o'clock in the morning And I got this little baby that I just put back to sleep because we just finished nursing, and I'm tired. So it was hard at times. It was fun. I had a lot of really good times transitioning in and learning. I had to learn to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have to do in America. It really showed me how strong-willed and strong-minded I am. It took me, I had to. My oldest child doesn't like to eat fish with bones, so we eat a lot of fish, and so I had to learn how to fillet fish, and I had to learn how, when I would miss things from America as far as food goes that I couldn't really find in the store, I would have to learn how to cook it myself, which was really fun. And it just really taught me that I could do anything. Ghana is a place that, or I would say West Africa or Africa as a whole, or just living outside of America, is a kind of thing that it'll either make you or break you. It'll either have you wanting to stay and learn and grow, or wanting to just run away from it all. So the transition was what I would say, I would call it, I was indifferent. Many times I wanted to go home, back to America, but I was determined that Ghana would be my forever home, and it is. We're building our house there, and my intentions are, once things level out here in Conakry, I'll be back in Ghana, and we'll be starting our next branch of the business there in Ghana. So yeah, you're married to a Ghanaian as well, and years to come, I plan on moving to Ghana as well. Yeah, Callie, I would say, the main thing for me at the end of the day was needing to put my foot down and set some real concrete boundaries. It was important to do out the gate. What part of Ghana? Well, when we first moved to Ghana in 2014, we were living at McCarthy Hill, which is in Accra. It's close to West Hills Mall. But our land is in the central region in Kaswa. So we're building, and we'll be living. We live in Kaswa. When my husband comes there now, we have enough of the house built that he lives at our place in Kaswa. And is it Kaswa? Okay, I answered it. Anyway, so we had that conversation about. There was this long thread that we had about accommodations, and Jennifer was referring to that when she said that I should talk about accommodations and the reality of accommodations. So here's the thing. In Ghana, just like America, you can live any way that your pockets will allow you to live. And many times we have people to say, hey, well, I want to come and live off the land, and I want to live like the locals, which, yeah, I want the live like the locals thing is something that really kind of bothers me, because there are different levels to how people live in Ghana. We have a growing middle class in Ghana. And then you have the upper class, and you have the very lower class. But there's a lot in between rich and poor in Ghana. A whole lot in between that. So to say you want to live like the locals, which a lot of times implies like you just want to live like simple and I don't I'm trying to be diplomatic about it. But I guess living simple and not having many things. That's fine if that's how you're able to live, but that's not as easy as people think it is. Especially when you're coming from America or Europe. So like a lot of our Caribbean brothers and sisters who come from the Caribbean, or they grew up in the Caribbean and then maybe go to America and then move to Ghana, it's easier for them to adjust to that type of living situation because they grew up like that. So it's easy to revert back to what it is you were doing as a kid when you grow up like that. Some of us who are from the southern parts of America, we do just fine in those, under those circumstances, but our concern is usually the things that come along with it, that which is like you need to know that you need to know what the water quality is going to be like. You need to know if the healthcare is a big issue. It should be a concern for us as repatriates, especially in the very early parts of moving to Ghana, because you know your body is not used to the germs that we have in Ghana. Just like Ghanaians who come to, or foreigners who come to America, you may have some stomach issues when you first move to Ghana. Some people have stomach issues, period. You know, it's just the way it is. So don't be offended when we're really trying to make sure that you understand what it is that you're getting yourself into when you're speaking of staying in places that may not have the accommodations or all of the things that that the necessities that you may need as a foreigner. Because until you get used to the place, you're going to need to have access to certain things. And you don't want to be too far away from where you can get those things. Like for instance, I know a lot of us, we want to do things naturally, herbs and medication. We don't want to do traditional medication or whatever when we move to the continent or whatever. And that's fine, but in certain situations you will need to. You know, I don't know if you all know, but there are two different kinds of malaria. There is the regular viral malaria that attacks your body or whatever, but then there's a neuro malaria which attacks your brain and your spinal column and all that stuff, and it's really, really dangerous, and you really need to seek medical attention in those kinds of situations. Living in areas that aren't really up to par, you may be taking some risk. Like you may not have hospital facilities that are, I'm gonna come to y'all questions, hospital facilities that are up to date or whatever, or have the things that you need. So when we're talking about accommodations, or we're talking about things and people seem like they're just being aggressive about something, it's not because we just mean and we just think we know everything. It's because we have had some really serious issues to happen in this group of women where people did not, either they didn't tell us what was going on, and we find out later that the situation was something that we could have helped to prevent, or it was maybe we told them and they didn't listen, and now we're scrambling around trying to find a way to help. So Kylie, you're asking me, how much did you pay for the house to be built? So the house is not complete. And I'm glad you asked that question, because that's a question that a lot of people ask. And this is my answer and will always be my answer. I cannot tell you how much it costs to build even my house. Why? Because every single time, we don't build unless we're in Ghana. So when my husband comes to Ghana, he'll build as much as he can until it's time for him to go, or until he run out of money, whatever it is, and it's time to go back to America and get some more. But what happens is the price of things change. If you all watch the exchange rate, if I can, let me see if I can make this make a whole lot more sense. So when we first moved to Ghana, no, when I first started coming to Ghana in 2011, the exchange rate was 2.0 to 1. So for every $1, I could get 2 CDs. Then when we moved in 2014, the exchange rate was like 2.5, 2.7. We shipped 3 containers full of stuff. My husband he sells cars, and he sells anything people want. Like, he's one of those people. But his main business is selling cars. So we had shipped 3 containers, cars, computers, all kinds of things. And for the first 8 months, everything was doing good. Life was great. It was all good. And then out of nowhere, the exchange rate started climbing so high. It was going from 2.7, 2.8, 3, 3.5, 3.8. We looking like, whoa, wait a minute. So at this point, what we bought is hard to get, to make some profit off of what we were selling, because now the Ghanaian, it just makes it hard for people in Ghana to buy things that are from outside. So when I said all that to say that the same thing happens with things that are in country, the price, because of the price outside, because of the exchange rate. So when we first started building our house, we have 2 properties. When we first started building the first house, a truck of sand cost 500 CDs. Now a truck of sand costs 1,500 CDs. The same thing with buying stones. It was like, I think it was like 800 CDs or 1,000 CDs when we first started, and now it's like 1,800 or 2,000 CDs. Like, the amount changes a lot. Same with iron rods. Iron rods cost, the cost has jumped exponentially from the last time he was there building to now that he's there building again. So it's really hard to give you a price on what it would cost to build our building. Like, our building is a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath building. The one of them is, and then the other one is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. That's the one that we're almost done with. We need to put the roof on and do all of the finishing part. But it was like, you need to get in, and when it's time to build, try to be able to just go ahead and build, because it's going to change on you very, very quickly. What local traditions have you adopted? What's your favorite aspect of culture? What surprised you the most? So, local traditions that I've adopted. I can't say particularly like anything in particular. My husband is Sisala. So like, it's been 8 years. It's been 8 years. So my life is it's just all kind of a blur now. So I really can't say like what I've actually adopted. I mean, I eat with my hands more. The truth is, like, a lot of the things are so similar to what we already do. So it's kind of like, it's not really a big change. The biggest change is like food. I can't really say what local traditions I've adopted. I mean, we just kind of immerse ourselves, or I've kind of immersed myself, and I just when in Rome, do as the Romans do. As far as the culture goes, my favorite aspect of the culture, honestly, like my favoriteest aspect of the culture, especially in Ghana, since I've been a couple of different places now, is that a lot of Ghanaians actually still wear local fabric as clothes. And I absolutely love that. I think that is and a lot of them wear like local beads and all of that stuff. So that part is really, that's my favorite part. What has surprised me the most? What surprised me the most is how little they know about us. How little they know about us as descendants from a long time ago, and how many people I've come into contact with who have no idea who we are, or maybe it just kind of has to be explained to them a little bit. Oh yeah, like so many times my husband has had to say, like they would call me Obruni or American, and he's like, no, she's Ghanaian, she's an African, these are our people. Like he would have to explain to them in more, even the ones who speak English, sometimes he would have to explain to them in Tree, like who we are. And that was surprising for me. Not in East Legon or Trisacos. Houses are huge and are not cheap. Beautiful homes. Khadija, I'm not sure what you are referring to, or what part of what I was saying that you're referring to. But I mean, there are different levels of living in Ghana, period. Like you can live, I came from Atlanta, so you can live like you're living in Buckhead, or you can live like you living in Bankhead. Like it's just whatever you're accustomed to, and whatever you can afford. I mean, it's up to you. I love Trisaco Valley. Trisaco Valley is like one of my favorite areas. Actually, one of my friends has a house there, and it's amazing. I love the place. East Legon also. So, which I'm coming to all of the questions. Which U.S. conveniences do you miss most? None, actually, because I have all of the conveniences that I would have in America. I know some people don't. Some of the repatriates, they pride themselves on not having all of the conveniences that they have in America. But I have 4 children and my mom. So when we are in Ghana, I have to have certain conveniences, like I have to have an AC. Me personally, I have to have AC and fans and a refrigerator and a stove, and I just have to have all of those things. It's necessary for me. Now I do know a few sisters who live like in the mountains, and they don't need those things because it's cooler up there. So they don't need to have AC and all of that stuff or whatever as far as they're concerned. And so it's to each his own, which as far as conveniences, you can whatever you want from America, you can find it in Accra. Like you can find everything in Accra, almost everything. You might have to do a little searching, but you can find it. Oh yeah. So Khadija, I'm sorry. I was trying to get answer the question, so I didn't see your question when it came through. So yeah, I was talking about living at different levels and how people think it's cheap. Yeah, it's not cheap so this is what you have to know as far as when you move to certain places. So you can get a place that has everything in it. Like one of our sisters, Annabelle lives in a townhouse, and she has hers was literally like pretty much move in ready. She just had to buy her furniture, of course. But she had a fridge, a stove, her ACs and fans. All of that stuff was already in her apartment. She just had to pay a little bit more than you know, someone else might be willing to pay. But you can, like, when we rented our house, the house that we rented, now this was in 2014. So this house, we rented it for 2 years. And when we were leaving, she was taking the rent up to, when we rented, it was 1,000 CDs. It was a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom house. That was 1,000 CDs per month. We had to pay for the 2 years up front. By the end of our lease, she had took it up like 200 CDs. So it was like 1,200 CDs. But we were leaving to go to the U.S. And we weren't going to be renting the house again. But although we were paying 1,000 CDs per month, we still had to rent we had to buy our stove, our refrigerator, microwave, all kinds of, like, we had to buy all of the electronics and the ACs. We put ACs in all of the rooms. Our landlord allowed us to make some changes to the place to make it a little more comfortable for us. So we literally gutted one of the bathrooms and made it more like we wanted it. We gutted the kitchen and made the kitchen more comparable to what I'm comfortable cooking in. So, you know, it was a lot up front. But once we paid all of that, once we had all of those things, and plus we were building out, we were starting to build our place. We knew all of these things were things that we were going to take with us to our home anyway. So it didn't bother us to go and purchase all of these things. So Cheryl is asking if I've seen any container houses. I haven't seen any container houses yet, but I also haven't been to Ghana in a while. I've been here in Conakry. I've seen people talking about it. We do have a brother, Brandon, who builds earth bag houses, and there are some other people who build other have other means of sustainable house building. Brandon builds some really beautiful homes. If you aren't following Brandon Rogers, you should be following him if you're into building sustainable living. He's great. And I think he partners with Brother Daoudi. And it's a few more other brothers and sisters who are into sustainable home building. But I absolutely love container houses, and I was telling my husband that on the next property that we buy, I want to container homes. Do Ghanaian respect single women living on their own? Well, so here's the thing, as far as single women living in Ghana. Single women living in Ghana, it's all good. It's plenty of single women living in Ghana. Everything is about how you carry yourself. So your respect will definitely come of how you carry yourself and how you, because it's still a very male-dominated society, and you just have to learn how to move within that space. I can't really advise on how to move in that space, because I haven't been single in Ghana. But there are a lot of women in this group that are single in Ghana, and I would say that you should reach out to some of the single ladies who have been living in Ghana for a while. I haven't heard any really bad things about living in Ghana as a single woman. I know for me, I've spoken about it before, but because it is still a very male-dominated place, Actually, Africa, period, is still very male dominated. You just have to learn how to navigate within that space. And the truth of the matter is, as Black women from the Americas, especially the United States, we kind of have to learn how to maybe bring it down a bit. I know for me, it's been really tough because we have very strong personalities and attitudes when it comes to things and getting things done. So sometimes you have to learn how to dial that back a little bit just to get things done. Me and my husband usually talk about what it is that we want. We come to an agreement first, and then I'll let him go forward with it. Even here in Guinea, I don't speak French at all. I won't say at all, but my French is very small. I don't speak Fulani. I don't speak Pular. I don't speak Mandinka. I don't speak any of the local languages. I only speak English, but I'm here doing my business. And my assistant is a male. It's important for me because I understand how things work. You tend to get things done better, faster when it's male. When you have a male involved. So if you're a single woman, I would say if you could befriend a male Ghanaian who would have your best interests at heart and who would look out for you in whatever instances where you're trying to get some stuff done, I think that that will help you a lot. Are fridge and stove non-standard? No, it's not standard. It's not standard for living in Ghana, having a fridge and a stove in an apartment. It's kind of like people from New York don't complain about the fact that a fridge and a stove aren't standard because they're used to that. For me, that was kind of weird because everywhere that I've ever lived, like a fridge and a stove is standard. But like my friends from New York are like, everybody has to buy a fridge and a stove. That's how it works. So I don't know. Okay, I would like to build a container home wellness retreat with containers. I went to college with Annabelle. Love her. She's my sorority sister. Saw her in December. Yeah, Annabelle is really freaking dope. Like I love her. She's so cool. And she's really like on point. And I love the fact that she has been working so diligently with the year of return, and she's been able to thankfully answer some of the questions that we have in this group, and all of that. Do I drive here or there in Ghana? Yes, I do drive in Ghana. I don't like waiting for people. Here in Conakry, I don't drive at all. I've actually done many things that I have never done even in Ghana. In Conakry, like I've ridden a motorbike here, but I haven't in Ghana. I don't ride motorbikes often, but like sometimes I have to get to a meeting right quick and people taking too long, so I just hop on a moto and go and just pray the whole way. But yes, I do drive in Ghana. That's important for me. A lot of people don't drive. I think I've been on the Trotro maybe twice, and that was because I was just I wanted to see what it was like, but yeah, I drive. Yeah, Cheryl, you have to tone down that masculine energy, let the soft side shine. It's important that you learn how to move softly, and it comes across. I'll give you a good story. So this is how male dominated, but how great feminine energy works in Ghana. So I was working with a brother he's Jamaican, but he's American also. So a first generation Jamaican. A young guy had this business, solar power energy business, and I was working with him. I was his I was his GM. So one day he calls me and he's like, "Yo, Keita, I really need you to do me a favor. Like I'm trying to close this deal and I'm having a really hard time." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you need me to do?" So he's like, "I need you to put on the prettiest dress that you have. Do your hair in that." It was some hairstyle. I can't remember the exact hairstyle that he used to like. But he's like, "You know that hairstyle I like? When I always say how pretty you are in this hairstyle?" He's like, "Wear that hairstyle and just come with me to this meeting." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Like, whatever we need to do to close the deal, let's do it. So I go to this meeting. It's in this big ass, pretty ass building in Ghana that I have never been into. It's the building that Google is in and some other companies, big companies are in Ghana. And I go to this meeting and this big dude in this big room with this big glass. It was pretty awesome. It was very Western looking. We come in, it's an older guy. I sit down. I speak, "Hi, how you doing?" I don't have much to say. And him and the guy are, starting to greet. In Ghana, you don't just really kind of sit down and get straight to business. You kind of have to do a lot of talking, like, before you actually get to things. So that's kind of some of the things that we have to learn, that culturally they don't, like, they're not straight to the point about probably nothing as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, we have the meeting wasn't even a business, it didn't even turn out to be a business meeting. The guy, he sat there talking to me about my life in Ghana and being married to a Ghanaian and how glad he was to see someone move back to Ghana and how excited he was about all of that or whatever. And it was just like, okay. But by the end of the meeting, he signed the contract and we got the deal for the contract that we were trying to sign. And Antonio had been trying to make this deal with this guy for like a while, and just me showing up and showing up some feminine energy, I guess it made him all right. We got the deal. So Lori is asking, what do you mean by male dominated? Is it in terms on waiting on a man to get things done? Concerning a single woman living on their own, I meant if someone asks you, who do you live with? Should I say I live alone? Again, I can't really answer that. There's VB is on here. I think, well, do VB have a fiance? I don't know who's really, really single. Who's single. I think maybe you should make a post about that and ask about it, because I can't really give you a definitive answer on that, because I've only ever been in Ghana as a married woman. So I can't really give you that. Well, Jennifer may be able to answer. She's married. She's engaged now, but she's been married before, and she was single for a little while in between. So she may be able to answer. Who else is single? Single. Who's single? I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of who's single who may be able to answer that question. Nope, she married. We'll make a post about it. We'll figure that out. But I think it's just a matter. I don't want to even speak on it because I can't really, because I'm not single and I haven't been single in Ghana. And I'm hoping that some of the women that's on here live, is there anyone who might want to chime in, who can hop on live with me and talk about it? I see VB. Can you come on live with me? V, if you hear me, if you're willing, can you come on live and maybe you can add to that, add some comments to that or whatever. I'm trying to see who else is on that maybe can help a little more with that. Okay, V is married. Who else not married? Like, oh, no, she got a fiance. I know it's some single women in this group. I just can't think of who it is right now. It's some single women in this group. Oh, well, Khadijah, that is... that is one of those topics that comes up often. Merely very often because of the implications that is for oh God, Akuz, hey, help me out here. So okay, so this is how I feel about it personally. So full disclosure, I've been married to my husband who is Ghanaian for 8 years. It'll be 9 years in September. Next month, we'll be married 9 years. So, and complete full disclosure, my husband is not only is he Ghanaian. I married him in Accra. He came to 10 months after we got married. I was able to get him immigrated into American society. And 2 years after he came to America, we moved back to Ghana. He is now an American citizen without all of the details of 8 years, but he is an American citizen now. And we have 3 children, 5, 3, and 1. So I said all that to say, a lot of times people think that, come on, we all know why people think that Ghanaian men marry American women. I'm not gonna, I shouldn't have to go down that lane. But, from what he and his friends have told me, and this is going to be a lot of TMI, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. A lot of the younger, because my husband is another part of my full disclosure. My husband is like 6 years old. He is 6 years younger than me. So for him and his friends, they were more interested in American women, or I won't say American, but foreign women foreign to Ghana, because they were saying that the Ghanaian born women were boring sexually. And that they didn't seem to have as much ambition as we have had. And we... Yeah, VB, when I was single in America, I never told people I was living alone either. So that was just a safety, because I had a small child too. So I never let people know that I was living alone either. But yeah, that's kind of something. But anyway, so as far as the them just wanting to be with American women just because we are American, in some instances, I would say yeah. In some instances, I would say no. I guess I don't know. I guess it depends on the person. Like Akus is saying, not everyone has bad intentions. Just be cautious. Ghanaians are generally friendly. So it's sometimes hard to see how genuine who who is genuine and who is not. So yeah, it is hard to tell who is being genuine and who is not. And the truth is, only time will tell. It's just like if you were dating a man in America. Like, it's plenty of men in America who taking women for all their money. Like, it was one dude they just called. He was going from state to state taking women for all their money. One dude who took a lady for like $80,000 in less than a month's time. A black American man took a black American woman for like $80,000 in less than a month. So we have to take out the idea that is about American versus Ghanaian or American versus. Let's just think about the fact that people are people. There are people with bad intentions everywhere. And you can easily find yourself in a situation in your home country with some raggedy ass man who need somewhere to stay. He in love because he homeless. Or he in love because you got a good job, or whatever the case may be. It's all about the person. But yeah, my husband and his friends, we had a real candid conversation about that, and all of the consensus was that we were more ambitious and we were, I guess, more sexually liberated. See, Khadijah, exactly. Maybe I won't. And the truth of the matter is, yeah, I need my citizenship too. You get your American citizenship. I get my Ghanaian citizenship. Everybody dual citizens. We all good. So, like, we need to just stop with all of the stuff that because hell, at the end of the day, men are men. Some men ain't shit. Some men are great. Some women ain't shit. Some women are great. So, I mean, it is what it is. I know I have a question, but I wonder how many on live that can actually maybe help me. I see a couple of people who live in Ghana who could probably help me with a question that I've been having. I found it very hard to build meaningful relationships with Ghanaian women. Has anybody else had that problem? Like, actually having friends that are Ghanaian, like women who are like your homegirl. Like, that's one of the problems that I've been having, which is why having friends from this group like is so important for me. But so Akus, do you have, but you're Ghanaian though, like, but have you, so are you saying that, Akus, are you saying that you have had issues building meaningful relationships, or are you saying that you have meaningful relationships with them? Yeah, I know you're British Ghanaian, but come on, is most Ghanaians who are, hey, Charlie, is it easier for you? Do you find it easier for you to make friends? Okay, so yes, you're saying you do have issues building the relationships. So that's been one of my issues. I have one woman that is like my little sister, Debbie. She's Ghanaian. I love her to death, but in this whole time, I've only been able to build that one meaningful relationship. And this is a person who, every time she has a child or there's a significant event in her life, I'm made aware of it, and I'm part of her life or whatever. But to actually, someone who comes to my house, I go to her house, like that kind of stuff, I haven't been able to build, but only like one relationship like that. So, Akuz, like, what did your mom say? Like, you said you remember raising this issue with your mom years ago. What did she say? Like, what was her feelings about it? Because, like, even in Ghana, like, I rarely, like, where do the women hang out? Like, you always see the men hanging out together. Like, they always sitting up under a tree having drinks or whatever, or playing board games or something, or just sitting around talking. They may be at the bar having drinks and kebabs or whatever. But I rarely ever see women like hanging out together. So, I just, that kind of bothers me, because I really do want to build some meaningful relationships with Ghanaian women. I just find it really difficult. She said that it's because most of them are in the house, but the guys would come out. This was as a teenager. Then later, my mom said English could be an element to it. Okay, I could see that, because maybe it's more comfortable for them to communicate in their house language or their neighborhood language. And for those who may be confused, when I say their house language, so like my husband was born and raised in Accra, but his father was Sisala, which is from the Upper West. And he speaks, his house language is Sisala. But my husband speaks, because he was born and raised in Accra, and his neighborhood is Dansuman. He had friends who are Fanti, Gan, Dangbi, Elway. There's a lot of people in the city. So my husband speaks a lot of the local languages that are in the city. So Tree, Gan, Fanti. He understands Elway, but it's not a lot of Elway in his neighborhood. So if you hear us say his house language or a house language, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, church activity. No, I'm good on that. VB says, I took salsa and kizomba classes, and there were friendly women there. Also, a beading class I took. I want to check out the dance hall divas classes too. I haven't made those connections yet though. Okay, so maybe as time is going and things are being brought into the city, that we're having more outlets where we can mix and mingle. I know that Nzali and her partner, they have the icebreaker mixers. I think it's like once a month, and that's where we do some bridge building there, where we have a lot of candid conversations. I haven't been to one because I've been outside of Ghana for a while now, but I would love to see more bridge building activities where we're able to communicate and try to build more relationships with our Ghanaian female counterparts, so that we can continue to build on the sisterhood that we're building now. We have some sisters in this group that are Ghanaian. And I think, but most of them are like Ghanaians who are who have been out of the country. I'm talking about like Ghanaians who are on the ground, been on the ground, ain't never been out of Ghana type of thing. So like most of our women in this group who are Ghanaian are like Akus, who is like British Ghanaian, and I really more like the term Ghanaian British, but that's me. So anyway, I said all that to say, if you all have any more questions, ask. I'm here. I'm chilling. I ain't working today. I'll get back to work tomorrow. I got back in town on Friday night, so I'm resting up, and then I'll be back to work on tomorrow. And I'm going to try to start doing more lives maybe on Sunday so we can there's a lot of new ladies in the group. Maybe we can get some of these questions answered and get some of the, get some of these things ironed out. Because it's kind of hard. I know that when we're talking on a thread, it's really hard to, a lot of times we read into words, we read a tone into words, we read attitude into threads when it's not necessarily the case. So I think even other women in the group, if you guys want to hop, if you're living in Ghana, or if you're not living in Ghana and you want to go live, like, let's ask some questions. Let's talk. Because this thing is getting more real for a lot of people. A lot of people are interested in moving. The year of return has opened up so many more eyes, and we have so many more women who are wanting to embark on this journey. And we're here to help. So however we can help, let's help. What do you always bring back to Ghana when you visit America? Well, so I used to bring back stuff all the time. Like for one of the sisters that has been in Ghana for a long time, I usually bring her peanut butter, lima beans, red kidney beans. She's married to a Jamaican guy. And what else I usually bring for her? Maybe some grits. For my own house, I usually bring kind of the same things like grits and peanut butter. What else? But mostly nothing now, because you can pretty much find everything in Palace or Games or ShopRite or whatever. But it's just, when you come in, there's certain things you can just bring that make it a little easier. Now, my husband, on the other hand, he tends to ship. When he makes a shipment, he usually ships like big bags of rice and oil, things that we eat a lot of that we could get for really cheap in America, like at Costco or Sam's or something. He'll bring those kind of things. And sometimes if I know that he's doing that, or if he let me know, I'll throw in some snacks for the kids or whatever. That's about it. But sometimes like essential oils and stuff like that. It's just whatever those small things are you may have a hard time finding in Ghana, or they're really expensive. You just kind of throw them in your bag. Throw it in the bag. Any other questions? Or anybody want to hop on and talk it out or whatever? I know that there's a lot of questions when it comes to repatriation, and a lot of times people aren't being very honest. I've seen people saying, like, I don't belong to any. This is the only repatriation group I actually belong to anymore, because I don't like the idea of telling people lies, or I won't say lies, but not full truths. So, like a lot of times people want to know, how much does it cost to live in Ghana? Nobody can tell you how much it costs to live in Ghana. I can't tell you how much it live in Ghana, and I've been doing this for a long time. Why? Because we moved with, it was me, mama, my husband, Kenesha, and Zuri. So it was 5 of us. It's 7 of us now. So I can't tell you what that look like. Most people aren't moving with 7 people. So what my budget is going to look like versus what your budget may look like as a single person is going to be totally different. What you might need as a single person versus what somebody might need as a family is going to be totally different. So did you hear about the free land allotted for people wanting to repatriate? Is it true? Okay. So, yes, I heard about it. I don't want to say that it's not true. I want to say that you all should be very cautious of anything that is said to be free. Because ain't nothing in the world free nowhere. So from what I've heard about as far as that land goes, that there are criteria and there are requirements that have to be met to qualify for that land. And I think one of them is like you have to live in the area for a certain amount of time. You have to build on the property in like a certain amount of time. Like your building need to be done in a certain amount of time or whatever. Like it's some criteria that have to be met. And there is like I think you have to pay like for surveying and demarcating and all of those things or whatever. So it's not really, really free. And I don't know the details. I have seen the documents. I would just say do your due diligence and make sure that before you go to signing anything or getting into any deals, make sure that you, look close and look close and look closer and closer and closer, as close as you can look. Find somebody who can help you to go to the Lands Commission and do all the things. I posted my purchasing land video. If I need to, I'll post it again. But there's a whole process to land. Although you have a traditional way of acquiring land, that traditional way also involves like legal things that need to be done. So yeah, just do your due diligence when it comes to that free land thing. We have, if you haven't heard of Fihankra before, we have that's still trying to be worked out. So I don't know. I can't give you an answer to that. Do older African American women date? My moms want to come and with me, but is worried about finding a man. Yeah, a lot of the older women date. A lot of the older women have they have a whole little, it's like an old lady gang. It's a lot of them that are a part of the African American Association of Ghana. A lot of the older women are a part of that. They have their little trips that they go on. They charter buses and go like to Kumasi or go wherever they're going. They go on their little trips or whatever. So yeah, they're dating. Maybe TMI, but did you have any of your children in Ghana? Did you have any of them in a hospital? How was it? So yeah, I did. I had my 3-year-old in Ghana. That's a crazy story, but I actually was supposed to go back to the U.S. My husband was insisting that I go back to the U.S. to have her because I had with our first child, I had a little bit of complications because I was still working in the U.S. under a lot of stress or whatever, and we had some complications with it was small complications, but it was enough that it was his first child, so he was like, nah, we need to be somewhere where you can if something happened serious, we'll know that you'll be okay. and I still had my insurance. So it was like, okay, it'll just be cheaper for us to have the baby in America. But the month before I was supposed to have her, I was actually a week before I was getting ready to leave for America. Sorry, my sister keep calling me. I just told her I'd call her right back. But so I had placenta previa major, which is where the placenta is covering it covers the cervix, and it doesn't allow you to be able to push the baby out safely. And I was in danger of bleeding out. So I had to be in the hospital in Ghana for a month, literally a month. Because it was like, you don't get to go home until you have the baby. That's the situation that I ended up in. And I had to have a C-section. So, no, it's not TMI. It's real life. And I don't mind telling the story because it's what happens. I was like, well, can I just fly on back? Like, I can change my ticket till tomorrow. And they were like, no, like, you literally could get on the plane and bleed out because of the cabin pressure and all of that. They like, nah, it's too risky. You could die. So no. So I ended up having my baby, my 3-year-old, at 37 Military Hospital. I had a C-section. I was there for a month, and it was an interesting time. I was there, and I couldn't have a private room because my situation, they didn't want me to be alone. So, yeah, I did have one of my children. I had her in the hospital, and it wasn't a bad experience. Actually, my surgery team was absolutely amazing. Now, the regular staff, we had some issues. I was there for a month, so there was some issues, but it wasn't bad at all. It was just aggravating being in the hospital for a whole month. Is there a directory of reputable businesses having a running list of people I've worked with? I can't seem to find one. So we were trying to get a list going in our files. It seems that for some reason, I don't know why people don't seem to like to really share their contacts. Even just recently, there was a post where someone asked about a lawyer, and in the comments, I asked, like, why are the contacts being inboxed to this person instead of just posted? Someone else might need that service. So I don't know if people just don't want somebody messing up their connections, which is, in Ghana, it's important to have good connections and keep a good reputation as far as your connections are going. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know, but we do need to build I've been trying to build one since we started this group. It's just been really hard to get people to comply. Like, it's even hard to get people to just do an introduction so that we could, I've been asking for all of the new members to put their picture and introduction in the Meet Your Sisters album. And I know as many women that we have in the group, we don't have that many introductions in. So yeah, it's hard to get people to share like we want to, but hopefully that'll change one day soon. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't have that. Now maybe you could help me. I mean, I don't have the ability to just do it myself, but I would enlist the help of other sisters, because I can't do it all by myself. So Any more questions or concerns, thoughts? Anybody want to hop on live and just talk and chat a little bit? If not, then I can finish up. It's been a good conversation. We covered a lot. But I think I'm going to start trying to just come on live on Sundays. I'm going to try. So we can just talk about certain things or whatever's on your mind. Especially as people are getting closer to moving, the anxiety sometimes starts to creep in or whatever. Also, if you all want to, some of the topics that we need to cover, if you just go in the search inside the group and just type in like a keyword, usually you can pull up. The group has been established since 2015, so you can usually find a thread that covers something about what your concerns are. Or you can just start another thread and we can just talk about it. Or you can wait until I come on live and you can ask me, or you can ask somebody or whatever. But I implore you all to just really try to build some relationships prior to moving to Ghana with people who are on the ground or with someone who's coming. It's really good to have some camaraderie, some familiarity, someone you can talk to, someone who's going to understand what you're going through. Because some days you just might need to just cuss and scream and cry and do whatever things that you need to do to get it out so that you can move forward. It'll be days where you're ready to run, but if you have somebody who you can talk to, somebody you can just bounce the things off of, because some things are going to get on your nerves. Just get you somebody to talk to. Befriend somebody that lives on the ground and is from where you're from, so that you can have an outlet. Sometimes me and the ladies that I'm really close to, we'll just have like Sunday dinner where we cook mac and cheese and collard greens and sweet potatoes and have drinks and play cards. And I know one of the sisters recently had a barbecue where they played spades and dominoes and all of that kind of stuff. We have our own culture too. So just because you move into Ghana don't mean you have to leave all of your stuff behind. We here and we love y'all. So if you need anything, we here to help. Even if we kind of seem aggressive sometimes, it's because it's all in love. I promise y'all, it's all in love. So, we don't want nobody to fall flat on their face. We've seen it too many times. We want everyone to have a good experience. I know too many people who have come to Ghana, and because they just wouldn't reach out to somebody, because they just wouldn't talk about what was going on, because they were too prideful or whatever the case may be, they ended up having to go back to America and they end up bitter. And we don't want that. So I'm here. There's other women that are here, have been in Ghana for many, many years now. Just ask. You guys have a good rest of the day. It's getting later in the day here. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Peace.